I have not seen you this fired up since the episode where we talked about Mila Kunis.
Hi, Mila, if you're still watching.
I have not seen him this fired up since that episode.
That seems right.
I thought we were gonna have to hit him with a fire hose. He's like. Coming to you more alive than dead from the Beard and Whiskey Studios, high atop Barley's Tap Room on Washington Street in wonderful downtown Greenville, South Carolina. I'm Russ Heaps, and welcome to this episode of Big John in 5, where I get my good buddy here, Big John Richards, the Beard and Whiskey beer whisperer, to pick up beer from one of Barley's 72 taps or 50, 60 bottles and cans. We sniff it, we sip it, we get bits about it. John tells us a little background about the brewery and sometimes he even tosses in a little brewing history. John, that was a magnificent introduction.
You've been on a roll today, Ross.
I know. What do we have?
We've got one of our local guys, Coast Brewing from down in Charleston. One of the longtime early beer scene adopters down there.
Why do they call it Coast?
You know, I figured that one out.
You didn't come across that in your research?
Their tap handles are a surfboard. I'm not sure what to make of all that.
Yeah, I don't know. Sorry I interrupted.
Not to worry. Folks down there, they've been part of the South Carolina scene, really active in helping us grow beer in South Carolina for a long time. And this Imperial Stout that they've made for many years is one of my favorite beers. It's just always, it's a big, aggressive, roasty, full-bodied stout. And none of this masking the flavor with extra unfermented sugars. None of this letting you off easy. This is a big
in-your-face stout.
And I love it.
Interestingly, Blackbeerd is spelled B-L-A-C-K-B-E-E-R-D.
Correct. Just the way it's pronounced.
Just the way it's pronounced. Beard.
Blackbeerd.
Beard.
Yeah. I think we should dive right in.
Okay.
I almost warned you about the bitterness level of this beer. It's not like it's heavily hopped, but it is heavily roasted, and it's a big, bitter stout.
Excellent. Really?
I suppose that means I did warn you.
Yes, you did.
Just not before we poured it.
From the redundant school of redundancy.
Yeah. It's just wonderful.
What's the ABV?
9.3. It does not drink boozy.
No, it doesn't.
At all. It drinks bitter. It tastes like cocoa, like dark chocolate, like espresso roast coffee and burnt bread. And it's magnificent.
It's just dry.
Yeah.
My tongue's all dried out.
Yep.
And it's good.
I love this thing, man. And we've discovered and talked about many times how I like things that taste a lot. And the more aggressive flavors, the better. I like plain shots of espresso. I don't like mixing it up with anything. I like black coffee. I like big bitter IPAs. It's just the way I go. I like hot things. I like things that taste a lot. So this kind of thing just speaks to me, and I dig it so much. It's sweet enough up front that bitter is welcoming on the finish, and it doesn't linger harsh. Like while I'm talking over it, I don't feel like I'm talking with sometimes something's so bitter that when you're talking over it, you taste it. Oh, you always say, so, all right, here's your beer lesson for today. When you smell something, it's just the first 10% of the way you smell things. You continue to smell it while it's in your mouth, and very importantly, you continue to smell it as you're exhaling. And it's called retronasal because it's going backwards.
Doesn't sound very appetizing.
As you're exhaling is a lot of this, you're not thinking about it, but a lot of the sense of smell that you get is happening in retronasal, which is why why you taste it so much while you're chewing it, because you're exhaling over it and you're getting all that happening inside your nose. So when I say, as I talk over the beer, that's what I'm talking about, is the experience of smelling and tasting it as it's coming back out in my breath. And it doesn't linger bitter that way. The retronasal, sometimes on a big heavy IPA, or oftentimes with a big huge stout like this, when you're exhaling, it's still bitter. This one doesn't do that. It's a great balance. It's big, it's aggressive, it hits you right in the face, but then you realize it was with love.
The next beer we do, I want you to pick one that you can really get passionate about. I want to see some enthusiasm out of you. This sort of flat, I could take it or leave it sort of thing.
This is what people go, Big John, you like every beer. You always say you like everything you taste, you say you like it. Well, here's how you can tell.
I've been with him when he's had stuff he hasn't liked, believe me, but go ahead. They haven't.
Yeah. I'll sit down and tell you if it's bad, or if I don't care for it, but I'm like, yeah, it's pretty good, or that's nice, that's really good. Or if I'm doing what I just did with this beer, that's how you can tell that it's something that is working for me. Because a lot of times I spend so much time telling people about beer in this business that I've gotten fairly good at describing what you're going to taste and not necessarily what I want to taste. A lot of people, you go to a bar, a lot of people come up to me or to any bartender and go, I don't know what I'm in the mood for. I don't know what I like. What do you like? Well, what I like doesn't have any relevance to what you're going to like. So I always try and deflect that question, but you can always tell if I like a beer by the way my eyes will light up and I start doing what I just did with this beer.
I have not seen you this fired up since the episode where we talked about Mila Kunis.
Hi, Mila, if you're still watching.
I have not seen him this fired up since that episode.
That seems right.
I thought we were gonna have to hit him with a fire hose. He was like, wow. No, I like this a lot. It is a big, in-your-face, roasty stout. It's the antithesis of Guinness.
Right.
Which is kind of smooth and light, and this is big.
Yeah. And I said it right at the beginning, this is one of my favorite beers and has been for a long time. So I just got behind it, that's all.
Before we started rolling cameras and we were talking about what we were going to do next, we both wanted to do this one, but we couldn't believe that we had never reviewed it before. And I looked through, we've got, 275 videos or something on the site. So
go watch them.
I quickly scrolled through it and didn't see, and in fact, I couldn't find a Coast beer. I would have bet money we had done a Coast beer before. But in any event, so if this turns out to be our second pass at Blackbeerd,
just gonna have to watch it twice.
Forgive us. Believe me, this is a better video than what we did 4 years ago. Which is probably when we did it.
Yeah.
So, anything else?
That's good. Thanks to the guys at Coast. Thanks for all you've done for South Carolina, for our beer scene. Thanks for this beer that's always so good.
And drop us a line and let us know how you came up with the name Coast.
Yeah, right.
So damn lucky. See you next time.